Are you a busy mom that feels like you have to be perfect in every aspect of your life? Do you find yourself setting unrealistic expectations and then beating yourself up when you fall short? If so, you are not alone, and I'm so glad that you're here. Because as someone who is a busy mom, a cancer survivor, and I've come out on the other side, I can tell you that being a perfectionist is not all that it's cracked up to be. In fact, it's often a leading cause of stress and anxiety within ourselves. So in this video, we're going to go through 5 different ways that I found that have been really helpful for me in starting making changes so that I can break free of this crazy vortex or cycle of perfectionism. By the end of this video, you have a better understanding of why being a perfectionist to a certain extent can be such a problem, and you have 5 practical tools to help combat against it and to reduce the stress in your life. So stay tuned. Hi there. Before we get into that, I just wanted to speak about my story and why I'm so passionate to be here and so excited to make this video for you. As a busy mom, as soon as I practically found out I was pregnant and was going to be a new mother, I became super passionate about transition my house to just more non-toxic lifestyle, just bit by bit. And you can learn more about it. I can link the information. Then I wound up having my second baby while in quarantine for a year after COVID. That's when I found out that I had breast cancer. I also have that story if you want to read about it. I can link it below. I had chemo and then I lost my hair, and I had a lumpectomy and there was still cancer in there. They went in for a re-incision, then it was radiation, and then it was oral chemo after that, all while raising my kids, working a pretty demanding job. Fast forward to today, I'm a busy mom, I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm a perfectionist in recovery. I'm just here to educate you and support you, and I just want to tell you that the vortex is not worth it. I sometimes hate that it took cancer for me to realize that and to put these things into action. It's very important because I choose to focus on how grateful I am that I'm here now, that I've learned, and that more than anything, that you can get value from this, from my story, my learnings that I'm going to share with you, so that you can have a more direct path instead of this whirlwind roller coaster trajectory that I was on, so that you can find a balanced life that you love. All right, so perfectionism, we know, leads to unrealistic expectations, procrastination, and self-criticism. We set impossibly high standards for ourselves, which just creates mounds of stress for ourselves and can be particularly dangerous for those of us who are in recovery, but also as busy moms, just trying to be that role model for our kids. It wasn't until I really started working with my therapist that I learned that it was controlling me, and I just didn't really realize, or maybe took for granted, how unhealthy it was. So how do we combat perfectionism? How do we turn that around? We're going to get into it. The first step is actually self-compassion. We have to be kind to ourselves. We are kind to our friends and our family and those that we love, and we are not kind to ourselves. Why? I don't know why, but we have to be kind to ourselves, right? Instead of beating ourselves up over not finishing our to-do list or falling short of some of those crazy high expectations, remind yourself that you're human, okay? And no one is perfect. I know you want to be perfect. No one is perfect. We're perfect in our imperfections, and we have to be okay with that. This self-compassion involves treating ourselves with kindness, consideration, and supporting ourselves like we would a good friend, right? We need to recognize that we're not perfect, and it's okay. It's okay. So be kind to ourselves, be gentle to ourselves, and this will start to reduce stress and anxiety and increase our overall well-being, okay? The second step, which I find really hard, but setting more realistic goals. So instead of trying to do everything perfectly and setting these crazy high goals and standards for ourselves, we need to be honest with ourselves about what we're capable of. And listen, it's not even like what we're capable of, but it's like, how much time do we actually have to do the things we want to do or that are on our to-do list? Better yet, like, what are the actual priorities? I could have a million things on my to-do list and maybe like 3 true priorities. What are you going to get value out of? How much work are you putting in to this one thing to then get the outcome of checking it off, right? We need to stop trying to do it all at once. We cannot do it all at once, okay? We need to remember to set small, attainable goals. It's those baby steps that get to that larger goal that we're trying to meet. Remember, progress, not perfection. The third step is to embrace the imperfection. Learn to accept that there will always be flaws and there will always be mistakes. Learn to see the imperfections and the opportunities for growth and learning, right? So if you're here, you're already starting to understand there's an importance here, right? And I hope that you're finding value so far. If you are, please comment below. Please consider subscribing and liking so that others like you and me can get this content and help them grow as well. This is a very important mind shift to make. You need to be confident in yourself and know that you are loved for who you are. Be authentically you, be confident in that, and be kind, okay? Gotta be kind to yourself and just let the rest go. The fourth step is learning to delegate. This one was hard pre-cancer. This was hard during cancer. This one is hard today. I can tell you it's gotten easier, but it has been a long road to get where I am today, but I'm thankful for it. We know that we cannot do everything ourselves, right? This is just one that I actually was more forced to accept, right? When I was in cancer treatments, it was, physically, I just couldn't do it all. I knew I couldn't do it all. I felt like doo-doo sauce, right? And it was more forced. And that's where the practice started for me, where it was saying yes to people who asked me for help. And it was actually delegating tasks that I really wanted to do, but knew in my heart I couldn't do. I didn't have the energy to do. I was finally able to let go, forced to let go, and just started to see that shift happen. The truth is that learning to delegate and actually delegating can be a super powerful thing when we learn to actually give up that control. The trust that other people can get it done. And it's not about them getting it done the way we want them to get it done. It's about getting it done, all right? We need to focus on how it makes us feel when the task is done and not how the task got done. The task may not get done the way you're doing it, or maybe it's, less than perfect, right? But let that go. That's a fleeting thought. Let it go. The stress of it not being it done your way is fleeting and is a tiny bit of stress versus the stress of it being on your shoulders that you have to get it done and it has to be done right and it has to be done perfect and then you didn't get it done on time and all these other things, right? That is huge stress, all right? Limited stress, right? We're talking about reducing our stress. Let somebody else do it. If it's not perfect, it's not to your standards, take a minute, breathe it out, move on. Take that big sigh of relief that it's just done, okay? It's off your plate. In terms of delegating, it could be asking your partner for help, your friends or family for help. If they're asking you, what can they do to help? Tell them. Give them something small. Start small. Tiny little task. Unload the dishwasher. Load the dishwasher. Pick up the toys. Whatever. And even with your kids, I don't know if your kids are doing chores or not. I have my kids doing chores and oh my gosh, I love it. Age-appropriate chores. But it's an important lesson for them to learn. And moms, they're not going to do it perfect. But guess what? Just let them do it, okay? It gives them confidence. It gives you brain space. It's an amazing thing, okay? So that's a really important step to reducing stress and anxiety. Okay, the last one is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is just about being present in this very moment, about not being attached to any outcomes, just being here and now. It's about being accepting without criticism and without judgment. That means letting go of the perfectionist thoughts. If only I had taken this path, or if only I had done that, or if I could have had more time to do X, Y, Z. Silence it, turn it off. Or you just take a minute and you kind of go through all your senses. What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And just being grateful of this exact moment. And by doing this often, how we learn to be present in the moment. living in the moment. Okay, well, this is the start getting there. All right, it's practicing how to be in the moment, how to live in the moment, and soak up where we are today. This also will help with reducing our sense of worry about the future or dwelling on the past, which really helps reduce our stress and anxiety and give us more of that brain space back. You see, so being a perfectionist is just not all that it's cracked up to be, especially for us busy moms and us cancer survivors. We just don't have the time for it. And in my opinion, like, it's just not worth the brain space, because you know what? You know, we've got more important, better things that we could be doing with our time and our brain space. Please take small, tiny, tiny, tiny little steps. You don't have to do them all at one time. It's about putting one foot in front of the other. Do your best, and your best is enough. To start practicing these tips, remember, it's about progress, not perfection. That's the goal. Being kinder to ourselves, embracing that we're perfect in our imperfections, focusing on what truly matters. What truly matters: our health, our happiness, our well-being. We can reduce stress and increase our overall well-being, and that will lead to a happier, healthier, more fulfilled, balanced life for ourselves and for our families. That's all for this video. I just want to thank you so much if you're still here. I put a lot of time and effort into putting this information together for you. If you found value, please consider subscribing. Please like, so this content can be pushed out so others can get help and get value like you did. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below on what your favorite parts of the video are or any questions. I'd love to support you through your own journey, and I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.